potty, so you gotta hold on a minute.
Okay. Girl, that was quick as shit. Did you even wipe?
I said I don't know if I'm done yet. I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, there's a
Do my
girl.
eyes look droopy?
No.
Oh,
Hi.
am I lisping?
No. Do you have them in?
Yeah, I have to get my hours in, baby. Need these things straight. But I
Hi.
feel like
You want to finish the podcast? Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom. I am Paul, and here is our fresh laid hair, new Invisalign, brand new bitch Barb as my co-host.
hi, y'all. Yeah, so if you hear a little lisp,
I don't hear a lisp now that I feel like you pointed it out to me. I might fixate on it now, but I love this for you. Look at you. She's got her hair. She's got some hang time. She's giving inches. She's getting a new fresh
yeah.
set of teeth. She's got her nails done. Who are you? I just like, can you give a hair twirl to the people who are watching on YouTube? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how I should have did it. Hi, y'all.
Let's run that back. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast. Please welcome Barb.
Hi, y'all.
There we go. That's how you're gonna pick up some men. Let me tell you. Do that at the local bar. Okay. Your hair is so blonde and just like gorgeous and looks so healthy. It's just funny because a couple of days ago you were asking me on the phone how many days is acceptable to not wash your hair. So I'm just wondering what number did we fall on with that?
That was a rough week.
What was that number?
I don't think people, especially women, I don't think we wash our hair as much as we used to. Like
what is we
used to? When I was younger, it would be like every day. I think I'd wash my hair.
That's unhealthy.
Yeah, but that's like every day you would in the shower wash your hair. That was kind of it. So I think it was about 10 days.
Mom, 10.
That's been my top. Yeah, I think that's. But I wear my hair up a lot. No. I put dry shampoo in it. Very expensive dry shampoo.
Girl, 10 days.
It didn't look like 10 days.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'd use good dry shampoo. I wear my hair up at work. Wow, that's bad.
I'm gonna look into this. Let's see.
What's the average? But I know a lot of girls at work that they're like, yeah, 7 days. Yeah, it was a bad week. 10's probably been my max, but definitely 7. How long you've gone a week without washing your hair?
I've gone a week without washing my hair. 10 days feels excessive.
I started by saying it was a rough week. And I wasn't feeling good, so I was sick in bed.
You were bedridden for, I would say, like 5 of the days. So, like, that's like half of the days. So, like, I get it. The 5 days you might have been, like, not wash your hair because that's a week. And then you unfortunately got sick. So then the 5 days took you out. So collectively 10 days. That sounds crazy as hell, but I get where you're saying.
Yeah. So it is, yeah. And then when you wash it, it looks so clean and everybody's like, oh, your hair looks so good. Like, thanks. I washed it.
Well, the trick is just go 10 days without washing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, forget Pantene. They need you on an ad just saying, take 10 days not to wash your hair.
For dry shampoo.
Yeah, you are a very big, you will ride hard for ShopRite and dry shampoo like no other.
But it's good dry shampoo. I don't use, I use good dry shampoo that it looks.
It's quality, honey. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely have gone 7 days for sure because with my hair, when I do shampoo and conditioner, it gets too soft and it just feels like there's no like volume to it. Yeah. Like it needs something to like feel like this. I just probably washed like 2 days ago.
But also like to get the grease in your hair and have that, it is good for your follicles and stuff.
No, well, I remember growing up, it was like ingrained in you that like you're dirty if you don't wash your hair every day, which that's not true because I feel like you're actually doing more, like that's not good for you. But like I said, I don't use much product on my hair. This is more of just like brushing, drying, and this is what it kind of does.
Yeah.
I don't like to shampoo or condition. I would say like a week maybe is like my max, because then it just starts to like lose like the volume of it. Like it just
Yeah.
feels flat and it's just like soft and it's too crazy and poofy. Like there's nothing really holding it down.
And I like it like a couple days after I wash it because then it has like, and
I'm
then
gonna
I'll add a couple curls to make it look like I did something.
I'm gonna look at the Guinness World Record to see how long and see if you've taken the championship
I
of
don't think so. 10
Guinness
days is not.
World Record for not washing hair.
It's a process. It's a process.
Oh my gosh. According to available information, there's no officially recognized Guinness World Record for the longest time without washing hair.
So 10 days could be
Oh
it.
my gosh, we're not Barb. Are you gonna add that to your resume? Oh my gosh.
Yes, I am. I'm going to.
Wow.
I'm gonna
That's
like
impressive.
I'm gonna like write them and be like,
Your legacy in life is going to be holding the Guinness World Record for the longest time without washing your hair. This is impressive.
I know.
According to most experts, women should ideally not go more than 2 to 3 days without washing their hair. But the exact time frame depends heavily on individual hair type and oil production levels.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, let's see. Reddit, how often should you wash your hair? I want to put this out in the ether and see. Someone said 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, I would say a week is
Someone said daily washing, which I don't find that to be true.
yeah.
Someone said once every other week,
Okay.
twice a week.
Once every other week I can get into.
Girl, we got to stop this. We got to stop this. I want to hear what the people have to say. Is 10 days of washing your hair like is this a fine line? Where do we step in here and say we're drawing the line? This is too far. Please let us know.
But in those 10 days, like, or even when I go a week, like, no one ever says, God, mom, your hair, or somebody never says your hair looks dirty,
No, I mean, no, you don't look like you're like
Right.
have seen better days and you've been rode hard and put away wet. No, but I do notice a difference when your hair is very shiny and
Yeah.
healthy and hanging and radiant and glowing.
Yes. And by the end of the 10 days,
Girl, that's
if I do this to it, it stays.
I'm gonna defend my mom and say, technically it's 5 because she was in bed
Yes.
for the other 5. However, that is still realistically 10 days. Yikes. Well, at least we have the teeth that are in progress and they're happening. So,
We're trying.
how long do you have to wear these?
18 months.
Your Invisalign?
Mhm. I'm on tray 2 out of 67.
We got a long road ahead of us. So you went through with your word. You got your Invisalign.
I did. I did. I went through with it. I was like, I'm going to do it. You go there thinking, oh, there's just a little problem. And you walk coming out thinking, what the hell? My teeth are jacked.
Yeah, it can be really humbling experience.
Yes. So I was going to get like the regular braces because I felt like it was just an easier fix. But then I decided after getting some input from people that the Invisaligns would probably be. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. I brush my teeth like 10 times a day.
Girl, you better have no cavities. Them shits better be the whitest thing. They better be as white as a shirt.
And it's making me drink way more water than I have ever drank because I don't feel like brushing my teeth 10 times a day.
I'm proud of you. See, look. So no soda?
No iced tea, so nothing because
I haven't had soda or anything either. I cut it out for right now.
Did you?
Yeah, I just was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, maybe I'm drinking too much of it. I just want to see. I want a clear head. So I was like, let me cut it out too. So I was like,
Oh, you know me. Mine's the iced tea.
yeah.
So, Yeah, I don't feel like taking you can't drink iced tea with them in because it'll stain and then you'll keep it, in there. And then any snacking or anything like that, you gotta take them out and brush. So I'm like, screw it. No water and no snacks.
My gosh.
3
I
meals a day, that's it.
I don't know what it is with this family, but teeth. I really thought we had gotten to a point where I was like, we're good. Everyone's had their fair share of teeth activities, retainers, braces, Invisaligns, you name it, Brett, me, you. I'm like, I feel
I
like just
Yeah.
this past year, I've never disclosed this to anybody, but I have a fake tooth right here, if you can see it.
You don't gotta point it out.
Yeah,
Just
you
say
guys
just randomly, I have and you don't even say a fake tooth, you just say you have an implant, that's all.
guess which
You
one
don't
it
have to
is.
clean it and be like, "Ah,"
Which one do you guys think it is?
right.
It looks good.
We're gonna put a little graphic with an arrow.
An arrow. Dr. Hill really got me right. She did a great job on it.
Yeah.
But I'm laughing because, like, the way we are you with, like, the Invisaligns, it's like, "Oh, I have to brush my teeth 10 times." It's like the stressful thing. Leading up to this tooth getting extracted, was it not like I was going for, like, open heart surgery?
Yes. It was.
I think I had s sleepless nights.
I had to be called, like, the day before, make sure you're okay, like, call you make sure I was like, "Tell the doctor to call me when you come out of anesthesia."
Oh my gosh, I mean, Jordy had to
I
drive
called
me there.
Jordy, right, I called Jordy, "Did he get there? Is he okay? Stay with them, don't leave," like
I said I was so scared. I this is clearly my control issue is that I don't like being under and not knowing, like, what is happening to me, and I elected to do, like, an IV sedation, which, like, Dr. Hill was like, "I'm telling you, it'll be the best sleep you ever had," and I'm just like, "Okay," and I just see the needle going in my arm, and I'm just like a little baby, and I'm there by myself, and I remember I'm thinking, like, all the traumatic experiences that I had as a kid where they used to have to put the pig nose is what they called it over you, and it was like laughing gas, and it would knock you out, and it just was like all the big lights. It brought me back. Talk about trauma. So I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm a big boy. I got it." My brother's had brain surgery. My mom's gotten 2 kids outside of her body, got them out somehow. We can do this. I can do this. And I said the last thing that I remember was talking to the dental assistant about Bad Girls Club and who our favorite bad girl was and, like, our favorite fight, and then passing out, waking up. I think there was, like, dried blood spit on the side of my mouth, and then Jordy them having to call Jordy because I think he went down to the coffee shop to work, tell them that I'm ready, and then they push me down to meet me at the sidewalk in a wheelchair.
as you called me, FaceTime me in the wheelchair
Yeah, I literally
walking down to the sidewalk.
literally.
I
So I'm
love
like
these are all the people who helped me.
and I'm like, "Oh, these people are like." I'm thinking everyone's gonna look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, "Sweetie, you're in Beverly Hills in a wheelchair. They see this shit every day, every second of every day, okay? You're nothing special out here." But I couldn't tell you what that phone call was on the drive home.
Nope, nope.
I I slept good when I got home. I know that's for
That's
one
what I
thing.
said. I'm like, "Just go home and go to sleep." So, yeah, so this is my new adventure. So we shall see. I'm excited. I just wanna see, like, it going, so I'm very dedicated to it because you have
You
to keep
are.
thinking, like,
You
22
do.
hours a day. Yeah.
The amount of
And
kids
I also think, like, "Oh, if I just had the regular braces, it would be all good."
I wear my retainer every night.
I'm not gonna talk about the retainer.
The retainer is the nastiest shit you've ever seen. It's
I'm
disgusting.
not going to talk about that.
I don't care what shit people wanna talk about it. I wear that retainer like it's clockwork. Even on the amount of nights that I've gotten, like, drunk and maybe been a little half-assed on my nighttime routine, guess what? I will wake up and that goddamn retainer is in my mouth still, because I will be damned to be one of the kids who had braces for a huge part of their adolescence and have jacked up teeth. I refuse to let that happen.
Should we tell the people how you had,
Headgear?
headgear? You and Steve Urkel.
I did. I didn't have to wear it to school, thank
I
God.
still have it.
You still have my headgear? We gotta look into this. You have my Lion King draws, and you have my headgear.
I
It
wonder if there's a I because I'm not a hoarder. I'm
it's it's
emotionally
giving
invested.
it's giving obsession. It's giving sickness. It's giving intervention.
It's giving, codependency.
Yes, it is. Yes. What a fitting topic. What a
Correct.
fitting topic. You're really landing those lately. I'm really, really proud of you for doing that. Well, I was saying how excited I was about today's episode because I knew we were going to talk about boundaries. My first taste of what I thought love was, I didn't have a boundary. There was no boundary.
That's right.
And I think it's so funny now because I literally have people that will ask me, like, just say if I see them casually at the gym or something, and they're just like asking me what I've been up to. And somebody the other day was like, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And I'm like, this person has known me. I feel like I've seen them casually in like 3, 4 years. And I was like, yeah, like here's my, Jordan is on my one lock screen and you and Brett are on the other. And I was like, oh, my boyfriend, like Jordan. And they're like, oh, you guys are in a relationship. And I was like, wait, like I feel like people recently have been asking me this, which is so weird
Really?
to me. And I think I found out why. I think it's because I don't really post like that on Instagram about Jordy like that. And with like my previous relationship, it was always like everything was like a whole like, shtick. It was like the two of us do, and I don't do that anymore. I find it to be cheesy in my opinion. Like that's not for me.
But I
And
also think you have, again, boundaries where you both do your separate things also. You're not constantly together. You have your things you do together, but you both have other interests. It's not always, oh, we both have to do this. We both have to,
no, we live a separate identity. I always said I don't want to my significant other should never be my identity. I should
correct.
have who Paul is, and that person is a part of my identity because they're a part of my life, but we should not be like an appendage of each other. My first relationship, I thought I was like it was starting to become an appendage of something. Like it just was like too tied together. I did not like it. I did not
No
find
boundaries. No
no.
boundaries.
But I did read a study and it said that you have a more successful there's statistics that back this up that say people who post less of their significant other on social media, they have a healthier relationship.
I believe that.
And I actually don't do it like consciously. Like I genuinely am just like, oh, like there's things now in the moment where I'm like, we don't need to just get like a picture with each other here just to get a picture. Like we're here together.
Yeah,
We're enjoying.
you guys will post a picture if you're at a wedding and look like
Yeah.
all dressed and cute and be like that, or if you traveled somewhere, that kind of thing. But yeah, and again, like people who post a lot about their relationship, people will sit and then be like, oh, that's, you know what I mean? Like that's not,
Well, it feels forced.
yeah.
I'm like very intentional about this relationship. And I was like, boundaries is a big thing. Like, one thing that like I feel like people might disagree on is that like we share location.
In that sense, it's definitely okay. It's if you're wanting to share a location because you want them to, because you need to know where they're at. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a trust thing or something like that.
Or you could just want to have it to be a dramatic bitch like me one time and remove him from your location just so you can get a rise out of him and see what his reaction is. I don't know if you remember this time. Jordy is so particular about a suitcase. He is the person that as soon as he gets in a hotel, he wants to hang everything up. He wants to put it away, fold it. I'm like, I'm not because like that takes a whole time. Like I'm not on my
Even
vacation.
the way he packs.
Oh no, I don't touch the suitcase. So
Yeah.
there was one time when I came home and I was gonna help do it, and he was just like, "Just leave it, let me do it." And I didn't like like a little of his too. Like I felt like it was a little like, So I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna just walk out of here, see what he says. I'm gonna take some space for me, but I'm gonna make a moment out of it. I'm gonna remove him from seeing where my location is. So I go to the garage, I go to sit in the car, I'm like, all right, I'll just listen to a podcast where I'm in there. I'll get a text eventually to see where I'm at, what's happening, what's going on. Hour goes by, nothing. I'm sweating bullets now. Like I'm like, this isn't even worth just the principle of like buckling down and doubling down on this. Like, I need to go. Like, I can't sit in here anymore. I'm literally gonna pass out in this car just for being a spiteful bitch. Like, I can't do this.
Backfire.
And so I'm like, okay, like I know, like he's got to know, like there's no way he just doesn't care. Like he would have checked, he would have checked on me now. He would have called me. He would have done something. Nothing. Maybe an hour and a half goes by. The podcast is over. I'm like, all right, I'm out. I go inside, narcolepsy attack, passed out on the bed, literally didn't even know that I was gone for that whole time. So I'm thinking I'm getting one over on him from how he talked to me, where I come in, back's wet, armpits, the shirt's out. He thought it was bad. You guys have seen it on here before. Face is dripped. And I did all of that just to remove him on my location, thinking that he was going to look.
Again, I think for us, it's a safety thing for all of us. Yes, of locations.
That's a healthy boundary, though. I removed myself to the car because I didn't feel like dealing with the BS of the suitcase drama. And I was like, you know, I'm out. Did I think that I was going to get someone to chase after me and say, hey, where are you? Yeah. After an hour and a half, I did. Did I get that? No, I did not. Did he pass out because his narcolepsy really took over? Yeah. Did he even know I was gone? No, not at all.
Nope. He was in REM sleep. He was gone.
Yeah, so that didn't really go in my favor. I thought I was gonna make a moment out of it, and the universe said, "Bitch, you thought."
Now our guest today can sit and talk about how these boundaries will help us.
Yes, I have a lot of questions to ask our guest today because she's a psychotherapist who deals a lot in the space of relationships, family dynamics, marriages. I think she will be a great sounding board to ask because I'm always like, wondering like, what are boundaries for other people? What do boundaries look like collectively? What does boundaries look like for yourself? And I think they're so healthy. I think many times people just hear that, they eye roll and they
Right.
think, oh, boundary, but they're really important if you want to have a successful relationship. I feel like every relationship, but I feel like this episode specifically on intimate relationships with a significant other, because I think that's important. I think, like, people like myself, you get lost in the day to day of just being with somebody and you don't really have a separate life for yourself. And I just think that is so important when I think
Yeah.
you are constantly doing everything together. That is where I'm like, red flag. So I'm excited to welcome our guest today, Alexia McLeod. I'm obsessed with her. I think she's phenomenal, so funny, and just really gives an insightful but different approach to therapy that's super relatable. So I hope everybody is looking forward to hearing her just as much as we are. So let's welcome to the podcast, Alexia. Today, we are diving into good old boundaries, a topic that I know everyone has to deal with day to day. I'm so happy to be joined by psychotherapist. Welcome to the podcast, Alexia McLeod.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Alexia. We're so happy to have you on.
Always happy to do this. I'm telling you, we're going to bring it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, what a topic to join us, right? When we're talking about boundaries, because, everybody hears that word every day. There's always an eye roll about it. Your background is deeply involved with relationships, especially codependency. Boundaries are an everyday part of your life, like from the moment you shut a door, from the moment that you put in your AirPods, from the moment, you're creating space or distance between you somebody, whether that's emotionally or physically. Like whether people want to run away from boundaries, they're very important because to me they are the telltale pillars of like your foundation of your relationship. Like I think as I was younger, I had a boyfriend that I did everything with, and I'm like, yo, I would never in my right mind now do the same shit that I did back then. Now we work together on this. Yeah, we work
That's too much.
together. We drove to work sometimes together. We had the same friends. We had the same interests. We lived together. I'm like,
Yeah.
like to me now as a grown adult, red flags. Like you should not be doing that.
I think it's really important to know, and I love that you said this, because it's important to know that, like, in relationships, listen, if it's good for both of you, then okay. But I'm a believer that when you're in a relationship with somebody, you have to have separate things going on as well too. And many times when you feel as though you have to be together or involved in every aspect of each other's life, that's because of a sign of insecurity that might be on your part, maybe because of something that you've seen, something that you've experienced before. But how can you bring new things back to have conversation about, or in your relationship, if you're constantly together, you've experienced it already, right? So, but it's all going to be, I guess, dependent on what the other person's needs are. Because if you got two codependent people that just need to be like, then you listen, go for it. But that is not my bag. That's not what I'm going to suggest.
People are afraid to put boundaries up, thinking that then it's going to, push people away, or they'll lose people, or their relationship will fall apart.
100%. I think that a lot of times, even more, people don't really recognize what their own boundaries are, and that boundaries change. You could be in one relationship, like you said before, where you were with your ex-boyfriend, and at that point, or there was a point in time that it was okay. It was like, cool, we drove together, we're always together. And then after, you're like, oh shit, this is not for me, right? So as you advance and we kind of mature and even experience different people, sometimes we have to redefine what those boundaries are going to look like. And we have to know it within ourselves so that we can express it to the other person. But let me tell you something, Barb, you're absolutely right that many times we don't say it because we don't know how the other person's going to respond, and is it going to blow up my relationship? So in the meantime, you sit there uncomfortable and growing resentment rather than just saying, listen, this doesn't work for me anymore. So let's kind of fix those lines.
Is it good to start boundaries like right off of a new relationship, kind of? Is it good to put them right out there, or is that something you kind of ease into?
I love your mom because she asks such good questions.
She does.
So, here's what I find, and I don't know if it's like a generational thing or if it's just like this new age dating thing, is that typically as soon as people swipe right, they think that they're in a relationship. And then they start to like say, oh, well, they're telling them all their traumas, and they're telling them how the other person sucked. And they're telling them how, listen, on the first date, I just need to be married and for you to support me for life. Right? Which might be what we want. However, we can't even trust this.
That's how the love bombing comes in, too.
Love bombing comes in. Trust me.
Listen to Barb. This podcast has really enlightened her. I'm telling you. Look at her.
But I think it's so important when we even put things out there and start to disclose what we want. You have to know that, is this person even somebody that you trust or even want in your life? So just because they want you because you're like, so pretty and so good and you have all these good, doesn't mean you got to want them. So we have to be able to really evaluate. I teach people to treat dating like a job. Everything is an interview. So just because you interviewed at one place doesn't mean that it's like your top job that you're going to stay at forever. So why, as soon as you swipe right one time and you actually went on a date, that are you so in love and you feel as though you want to tell everyone everything? So when it's time to really talk about boundaries, I do think that there's certain levels of boundaries that are important to implement as soon as you meet, because we know if somebody, like I did a skit the other day and it was funny because it was like, I'm going on a date and somebody's calling me. And as soon as they called me, they were like, yeah, I'm just going to come over. And I was like, fuck that. So that is you got to put down those boundaries.
That is a boundary.
That's a boundary, right? So it's if that is a boundary for you, then you have to know that, okay, there's only certain things that you're going to cross first date, second date. And again, things may change because you might meet somebody and they may be just amazing, but you still have to take your time. Don't rush, because I think that most relationships fail because people don't take the time to really know who a person is. And I'll see people that have been married for 20, 30 years and they're like, oh, but he's like this. And I'm like, was he different before? Well, and I'm like, you got me, Paul.
My own biological father, Alexia. I'm like, hello, ding, 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 ding. When I say to Barb, I'm like, the woman that I know now, she would not put up with half of this shit. And I'm like, what made you
half?
All of it. And I'm like, there's something in there in those early years. We're still there. You just didn't have your finger on the pulse yet to know that, right?
Yep.
So I commend my mom for like breaking that. But you do know, I know you see patients, I'm sure, that are
Mhm.
like still enduring that. And you're like, why?
Mhm.
Like this person was always giving you those signs that something
Mhm.
was there, right?
Mhm. Constantly. And, and in fact, if you're to look at it, you probably made them better in the time that you spent because you don't know the baseline. You've created a baseline in your mind of what you wanted. It's dating potential rather than dating the person, right?
Yeah.
So when we're dating potential, we're envisioning, oh, but they're going to be. Oh, and they may have potential, but you have to be able to know here's where this person is at. If they are 55 years old and living with their mama, and have no job, but they're telling you how they want to like buy a hotel and have you live the lavish life. What are they doing to implement that plan? If
Yeah.
you're seeing nothing, why are you everybody's car is in the shop? Listen, you got a Porsche in the shop, but you asking me to pick you up or asking me to send the Uber. Take hints like from what people are giving you, right? So that you can actually have a realistic relationship based on what it was. And if that's okay for you, then go for it.
I wanted to play a little game that I concocted for you that I thought would be funny to kind of like throw out scenarios. Cause I was like, oh, I know she'll be like, this is how I feel. This is what it is. Like, and I love that.
Mhm.
Different types of boundaries in a relationship, seeing whether you think that they're healthy or unhealthy. So the first
There
one
is.
that I thought was the big one, which I feel like everybody feels this way, is should your significant other have access to your phone? So that's i.e. passwords, accounts, etc.
This is a big one. And I'm going to tell you, for me, I would say unhealthy, right? But for some, depending on what your situation is, because there could be a situation to where if you guys just started dating, or even if you've been together, and it's just like you have to know where this person is at all the time. I have to track. I need to look at your phone. Unhealthy. Because why? You got to ask yourself the question why.
Right.
If you are with somebody and there have been reasons in order to they've cheated before, you're gaining trust back, and that's something that you need in order to feel secure while you're figuring things out, and they're willing to do that, then it's healthy. So that's a dual answer.
Oh, I love that though. But
I love
yeah,
it.
that
I love a
second part
dual.
is totally right. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
I was gonna say, if you have dual answers, we'll accept those answers because I believe that there's always, honestly, sometimes two sides
Mhm.
to each
yeah,
story. So
yeah.
my next one was gonna be is sharing location completely out of pocket, and you kind of
There should be no reason to share location. If you don't trust who you're with, where they're going to be, or then you need to really start reevaluating some of the things within your relationship. If it's a safety thing, okay. But there's many times that
Yeah,
it's not just a safety thing. That is something that you just want to know where the exact location. So if you got to press and get there immediately so you can track them, then that's what it is, right?
yeah.
We
I
have
was
to
gonna
start
say
asking
it's
ourselves like why? Like
yeah,
what is the purpose of that?
checking your man and clocking him and keep refreshing to see if that little blue dot circling
yeah,
around the
yeah,
same spot. That's
yeah,
crazy.
Mhm.
yeah.
And sometimes it's crazier for you because your mind is spinning. You're not even able to concentrate on what you're doing. You have to start like, how come you can't just ask them where they're going to be and hold it? What the heck did we used to do before we had phones?
Exactly. Well, that's where I feel like that's where the trust is lacking because if you're
Mhm.
like not even feeling secure with
Yeah.
your, significant other just gallivanting around town with their friends and they told you that's what they're doing, I'm like, then that's something that's way deeper than just a
Mhm.
sharing location.
Well, that's why we got away with so much when we were younger.
That is true.
Oh God, I'm sleeping over such and such
Mhm.
house.
Mhm. Uh-huh. See, Paul, she's putting you out there.
Alexia, how do you feel about this is a funny one to me, splitting checks with your significant other? I have a really big issue with this, but I'm going to let you take the floor first because I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, this is me personally. No, I'm not. If you're taking me on a date, why the hell should I have to split the bill? Right. And that is because listen, I'm old school. But again, there's a lot of people that think that it's okay. But I'm not nitpicking on a date with you. If you're going to take me out, and guess what? There might be times I will take you out as well, too. But I think that that is something that if it is going to happen, then it should be noted before. So when somebody's going out, if you're going on a date, tell the person, listen, we're going to split the bill because my finances ain't right. So that I can make a good decision over whether or not I actually still want to go.
Or if you're going to order from the 99-cent menu.
100%.
Happy hour, yeah.
100%.
The happy meal or the full meal.
Yeah, exactly, right? Let's split something. I'm not going half and half with you on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That's silly. Too cute for that.
Too cute for that. That's literally the hashtag. Too cute for that. 100%. I feel so strongly about this. The tackiest shit, in my opinion, is if you are on a date, if you go somewhere with somebody, I'm not gonna sit there, like you said, nickel and diamond and going off the menu and saying, well, you had this drink and I had this. I'm like, no, I'm fronting the bill. I got you this time. You can get me next time. Yes. And
the thing is that if you can't go, don't go. If you can't take someone out to a place, because people forget that courtship is courtship. So I don't care if you're in a same-sex relationship, if you're in a whatever relationship you're in, a courtship is, and if you invite somebody to go out, then it's okay. There's kind of an expectation that you're taking me out. So it should be something that's verbalized ahead of time. And if you listen, I'm okay. If you can't take me to Palm Beach, take me. Listen, let's go have friggin' some tea or go to a place where I can have acai. I love acai, right? and I'm okay with that, right? So it's just stay in your lane. But what ends up happening a lot of times too, I think a lot of people, and it's not a man thing, it's not a woman thing, it's an everybody thing. They try to put things out there as though, listen, I call it all flash and no cash. They're wooing somebody in courtship. You know that you live in your mama house. You can hear me say that a lot. You know that your Porsche is not in the shop because you have never owned one, and you got an El Camino that don't run and the engine is like on the side for how many years. But you want to show people that you're like a lot of things that you're not, and then you're wondering why they don't appreciate you later. If you want to be in a good relationship, you have to allow somebody to learn you. And not the fake you, like to really, or else if you feel as though you need to be someone else, you really need to start considering why you're courting that person in the first place, because it's not going to work.
Alexia said that with her whole chest. I'm like, girl, who hurt you in the past? Because they're still coming.
You know what's funny is I had a psychic tell me one time that I was a man in 37 different lives, and I believe it, right? I have always been the type of person that I am so willing to take on certain roles, to do certain things, but I've never had it to where somebody has ever asked me to split a bill. There's ways that we kind of carry ourselves that would have people not even ask you that stupid question, like to split the bill. That if you carry yourself in a certain way, a potential would know that they can't do that with you. They would stay within their lane and they would make sure to doesn't take a lot to impress the right person. I think a lot of people think that you have to go so far out, but it's not. It's listening into like to the real things, the things that people appreciate and want. And many times in relationships, people, not to say we don't enjoy big gestures, but it's the little things that count even more.
Yeah, I agree.
I know. I'm sorry. If I'm going out on a date and someone asks me for a date, they better be picking up the tab. That's all.
Yeah. Listen, now you heard it on here.
New school, I don't care. I'm like, no.
100%. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way. Even as a gay man, I'm like, if you were to ask me, I feel like you're initiating that where you already know in your head you kind of created that. But I've had friends where they go at it, like, and that person like goes to pick it up and the person's just respectfully nice, like saying, oh, like, do you want me to split? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm not that kind of person that I would do it on the spot, but I would not see you after that. I'm sorry.
100%. And that's the way to do it. So listen, you just discussed a boundary.
Yeah,
so
right.
Your boundaries. Yeah, you might not before you go on the date, like say, here's it, because it might just not be even within your wheelhouse. But guess what? If somebody tries that, that's the last date they'll ever get. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my bougie bitch boundary where I'm like,
that's no, okay. We all got it,
baby. Alexia, how do you feel about sleeping in separate bedrooms?
You know what, to me, it's, I don't know. I don't think that there should be a reason, and let's say if you're like, if you are a big snorer or something like that, fix it. Or put in some earplugs. I think it's so beautiful when you have like a partner that you can like cuddle with, or even if it's a day when you don't want to, at least you're sharing the bed and sharing the space. So yeah, I think that could be, if it's excessive, it's unhealthy, absolutely unhealthy.
I agree with that. I
Mhm.
don't when I hear people say that and they're married, I'm like,
Why?
"Ugh."
Yeah, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
And you think about this. When you're like in bed with your boyfriend, how much time are you actually spending in meaningful conversation? Typically, by the time you get to bed, it's a nice time to be able to like recap
Mhm.
and like laugh at certain things or make plans or solidify whatever it is. So that is to me bonding time as well too. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to only do with the intimacy, but listen, if somebody's in the other room, how that's gonna happen? You got to like walk all the way over. I'm tired and it might be cold, right?
Yeah,
So
I know, that's how I feel. I'm like, and then, like, after you're like, "All right, bye," and it's like, "But you're married."
Mhm, mhm.
Or
I
whatever, not married, but,
I look at it this way. I'm like, it's great to have that extra bedroom, but you don't need to be living in it maybe
Mhm.
24/7. That's how I
100%.
feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Because I was like, we all been there when we're like, I need to get away from you. I love you, but I need to close this door and be in a separate bedroom.
Mhm, mhm.
This is one that I'm interested in because this is something that I've experienced in the past with friends merging together, and even to this day now, which I don't think it's a bad. I'm not even going to say. I'm going to let you say what you think. But your significant other being best friends with your best friend.
Unhealthy. I think that it is great for everyone to be friends, but you have to, if it's your best friend, your bestie, you have to have that person as a confidant. And I'm very strict about not telling your business to everybody, right? You have to have at least one confidant that's there and a great therapist. But when you start like talking it too much, or you have somebody that's totally in between your business that doesn't really understand it, if they're not in your life, they don't understand. And
Right.
oftentimes when we start talking about the things that are going on in our relationship, it's not the good stuff. So
You took the word. I literally was gonna. My next question to you was going to be, how do you feel about telling your business to like friend? Like, is that a boundary where it's like you're going against your partner because you're kind of putting your like business out on front for everybody to kind of dissect and talk about?
I think that it is unhealthy. I think again that you should have like, let's say if you have one good friend that you trust that can be, no friend that is in bed with you. When I say in bed, that is like, committed to you and everything else is going to be able to be a total third party, but a good listener and somebody to give you real sound advice and tell you, listen, maybe it's you that's fucking up. Maybe
Yeah.
it's you that needs to really look at things, right?
Yeah.
That friend is a good friend to do it. But there are several people that what they end up doing is it's like, let me tell enough people so that somebody has my side. If I tell enough people, that they're going to like be mad at the other person. And then on
Mhm.
the flip side of that, when they end up going back to their partner, then people are like, what the heck? It reflects more on you.
Oh, you look crazy as hell doing that. That's
Yeah.
always what I said. It looks
Mhm,
messy.
mhm,
This is where I love this conversation. I love that we're
mhm,
having this. You get it. I was like, I
mhm,
always felt like I grew up in a household growing up where what happens in your family stays in your family.
mhm,
I now as a grown adult agree to an extent, but
mhm.
I don't believe that if it's unhealthy, you should keep it within inside of you and not talk about it. I think like you said, you should be having a therapist and you
Mhm.
should have that one person like my mom or my best friend that I can go to and I can
I
tell
was
them
gonna
things.
say this one person's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that you can say something where it's non-judgmental. Like, listen, I'd be lying if I said me and my boyfriend never get into arguments or fights or something. And of course, I'm calling my mom and I'm saying, girl, oh my God, I'm this or that. You know what I mean? Like, what do you, and my mom gives me advice, but she's neutral.
Mhm,
I think what happens when people start getting messy is that
mhm,
you're just like talking shit from like Joe, Tom, Dick, Harry. And then you get back to this with this person because you're going to, it's just a little blip. You
mhm.
look stupid because now you just kind of bashed that person in front of all these people. And now people are like, don't come back to me with all of this
Mhm.
next time that happens.
100%. 100%. And then they can't understand why. And then a lot of times too, when they go back, the friend might be so, oh my God, I'm so mad. They don't even want to be friends with your partner anymore. So now it's ruined the whole dynamic.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
again, when you're looking at things, listen, if this person is like doing something that is totally wrong, go on ahead and tell somebody again,
Yes.
to
Yes.
but somebody that you're going to trust that's going to help you out. If it has to do with something, an irritant or something that this person is doing, and this is on a different level, again, you don't have to tell everyone because what happens, human nature, if you start telling me something negative about your boyfriend and we're talking, I'm gonna be like, let me tell you about my husband. Because that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's finding a commonality in conversation. And then before we know it, we're like husband bashing, right?
Yeah.
I want to be with people that like literally can lift me up in my relationship, and that no relationship, not even this therapist, is perfect, right? Not because of me, but because of my husband. It's not perfect. Right?
Are you a Virgo?
Of course.
I am an Aries.
Oh, you're an Aries. Okay. I was
100%.
like, I was like, her energy is giving Virgo energy on your
See?
100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's, you have to be able to know what you are saying and what the repercussions can come to on both sides, because a lot of times we plan to bash the other person, but really it's a big reflection on us.
100%. My
Mhm.
motto now is like, keep it in the house, but like leave the key under the mat for the real
Mhm.
ones who can have access to the house
Mhm.
and they're very far and few in between. That's how I look at it.
I like that.
I know. I like that. So
Thank
cute.
you. Thank you.
Look,
Thank you.
look at there's my mom's
Thank
pride
you.
in his like, and I came up with that myself.
Alexia, I wanted to ask you, because I feel like you would have a good perspective or take on this. Should your significant other know the amount that is in your bank account if you two do not have a joint bank account?
No, that's not even a question. Hell no. Why?
I agree. I
and,
agree.
and I will tell you why. Right? You don't have a joint bank account. And for whatever reason, everything still gets paid. And obviously at that point, you should have an agreement of who's paying what, so that why should they know? No. Did I say no?
I love watching your reactions because I'm like, oh, she's gonna.
I'm very animated.
This one was presented by my lovely boyfriend Jordan. He thought this would be a good one to ask.
I can't wait to hear this one.
If you are in a relationship with somebody and I say to my little brother, I call him a little bitch. Like, I'll just say, maybe that's something that's our banter. That's how we say it.
Mhm.
Where does that fall in where then the significant other starts doing that? Does it fall into that? Does it fall into that category where it's like, that's my fan?
It is not. Let me tell you something. Family is different than even if it's your partner, your whatever. And I am a firm believer that even if you don't like your in-laws, the person's family, you leave that up to them.
Yep.
If there is even you can't start calling anybody else's brother a little bitch. That just does not work, because it doesn't sound the same on either side.
It doesn't, right? It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
No.
It's different.
And it can be interpreted differently from, I'm just using you as an example, as you saying it to a sibling than someone else saying it.
100%.
Just doesn't have that same little,
100%. It's
kind of,
different.
yeah.
And you guys have a different type of relations. There's things that I know I say to my family that my husband, well, he loves them to death, but that he would never say, he better not ever say. Even things, everybody's family is not perfect. So we all have, especially his family, people have like things that go on. I don't comment on the stuff with his family. If there is like something that's going on that is really strange or weird, I just don't. I'm like, listen, he may come to me and I'm like, and I stay here. If they're not sitting in front of me and they're not a client, I am not doing it. I can't take you on as a client anyway. So handle your business, right? They had that going on way long before me.
You just got to bite your tongue and look pretty, right?
Bite your tongue, because the minute you speak, when it has to do with your partner's family, you now are the enemy. So mainly what people have to recognize is, even when there is dysfunction, I'm not saying you calling your brother a little bitch is that's kind of just fun and games, right? But even when there's dysfunction, that's dysfunction that they have seen all their life. And their dysfunction has become their norm. And there's times as life goes on, you start to recognize, because you're exposed now to things that are a little bit more of what you want as your norm, and you are embarrassed of it. You're not going to say it. You might just not carry your partner around that much. You might just, and your partner might be thinking, how come they don't have me around the family? There's a reason, right? So there's things but once you start to say stuff, it's like jabbing. It's like listen, I'm a girl, so I'll say if my makeup's not good, or if like my hair's going, and somebody says it, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, you're right. Now all of a sudden you're embarrassed. It's a whole different ball game. So Yeah,
Well,
That's-
it's just like that saying, you can say something about your family, but no one better else say something.
that is
about
a good saying. It's a true saying. So don't
Yeah.
do it.
It really
Mhm.
is. There's something
Mhm.
with it. Like people just, I mean, you just don't play with family. That's just what it
Mhm.
is, bottom line.
No, that's like fighting words.
Yeah.
Right.
And mom is from Jersey, so don't play.
Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Oh my God. We need that in like a teaser. So that is it right there. That line. That's hilarious. I was going to ask you, Alexia, there's hope for people like in any of these scenario situations that we talked about. Like, if you want to be okay with that, then you need to find somebody or you need to work at or you need to do the inner work yourself to bring you there, right? Like communication is key in every relationship.
100%. And you know, you said it because it's about finding somebody that you're compatible with and recognizing that in every relationship, even if you're the most compatible, there's still going to have to be some compromise. So figuring out what compromise that you are okay with and not just saying okay because you want to keep the peace, right, mom?
Yeah.
You have to know, here's my boundary, here's an area that I can't go past, but there's other areas that I really can for you. But for everything that you are willing to do, they should be doing something as well to meet you a little bit closer to that boundary line. That helps to make a healthier relationship.
Robin from America's Next Top Model did say it best. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Okay.
100%. I like her. We ain't falling.
Oh my gosh. I could keep you on here all day and just like listen to you like give your point of I find you so what I find and adore about you so much is that you are a professional woman. You know your shit. You
Mhm.
have the expertise and the degrees as we see, but you're like funny.
Real.
Like you're
Yeah.
just real. Yeah, like you're just like fuck it. Like you're just saying the shit that we all say.
Every therapist doesn't have to be boring, right? Every therapist doesn't have to be like, friggin' girl, my makeup is done, hair is done, I'm looking slay, because I do believe that all of it matters, right?
It does,
So,
yeah.
all
I
of it
mean, I'm kind of like, hey, I want to book a session, then afterwards,
I just was gonna say that. I was gonna be like, oh, she's like,
yeah.
you
But
do,
I'm like,
are
afterwards,
you
I want to
taking
get like,
are you taking new patients? I have dating issues, this, that.
we make it fun. Therapy doesn't have to be boring. To me, therapy can be fun. It should be fun.
Alexia, before we let you go, tell everybody where they can check you out at.
All righty. So my name is Alexia McLeod, but McLeod is spelled a little bit weird. So we're going to end up putting it up on the screen at one point in time. So it's www.alexiamcleod.com. So I look forward to you guys checking out my website, going to my TikTok, to my Instagram, which is alexia.mcleod.
I'm excited for planning something with you again. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys take care.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
Alexia.
Bye.
Oh,
I love her.
I love her, but I need to put these on. I'm getting a headache. So sorry, people, that there's a glare.
You're switching up the glasses now.
Switching it up. I have to put them on.
If I were I see myself in her. If I were a therapist, that's how I'd be.
Want her as my therapist. Like, I'm not even kidding right now. Like, she had like dating, perspective, therapy, like just the boundary, like just all of it. I was like, yes, yes.
We were saying like why I was so complimentary is because I'm like, people think therapy has to be, I think people who have never done it think it has to be very clinically like sterile and not like, I don't know, not like a vibe.
Yeah.
And to me, she's like, I would leave there being like, damn, I just got a new boost of confidence I didn't even know existed.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We adore you, love you, and thanks for listening. Please make sure that you are following us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom. Please make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube. You are liking our page on Facebook. You're just following, liking, sharing, doing everything you can to keep putting this
Keep us
out.
going.
Yeah, keep us going.
All right. It's that time again. I'm hanging up now. Bye.
Call you later. Love you.
Love you.